And then, so the different diagram types are the class diagram, which is the same as the main UML diagram. So when a class shares attributes and methods, a superclass should be used to avoid duplication. The deprived classes inherits all the attributes and methods of the superclass. So as you can see, this is the same one as what I used last time. So there's the superclass, person, then the deprived class is the student, and then a teacher. Alright, then there's the object diagrams. So the object is an instance of a class. Objects can be represented as a diagram using object diagrams. But there are two symbols you need to know. So there's the anomalous object, which represents any of the objects within a main class. Then there's the object symbol, which has the individual attributes of a specific object from a class. So if you look at this thing, so there's the object diagram, so the student one, then the anomalous thing is just a student. So object is kind of like a breakdown of it, and then anomalous is just saying, right, this is what it is. So it just calls it sort of thing. Then there's a use case diagram, so it shows the functionality of a system rather than how things should be done. So for instance, it's the student, well, it's actually should be going another way, so there's the student and teacher, and then there's the teachers in the middle. So the student gets taught by the teacher, and that's how it looks. So system has users. In the diagram, users are called actors, which are represented, so the actors are represented by stick figures. There are two types of actors: the initializing actor, so the student, which sends out the request, then there's the receiving actor, which is the teacher. So actions are represented on a use case diagram by an oval. Actors are linked to actions by lines called associative lines. These show which actions are associated with which actors. Alright then, so the next thing is the state diagrams. So it is used to describe how an object should behave. So diagrams start with a black circle, which is called the entry point, to represent the initial state of the system. Arrows show the transition between different states from the system, so the direction of the arrows, you know which way it's going. So those would be, if you are asked to make one of these it would be crucial if you get the exact arrows and stuff. So arrows show the transition between different states of the system. The last symbol in the diagram is a white circle with a spot in it called the exit point. So from this diagram, the first circle is the entry point. The arrows show the transition between states. The states are represented by rounded circles, so the recording and editing, so that's a change in state, so the different states. Then the trigger that changes the state is stop recording. So then the circle with the dot in the middle shows the exit point, so it goes from start recording, stop recording, then into another state which is editing, then into that. Right then, so the next thing is the sequence diagrams. It shows how objects interact with each other over time. So each object has a dotted timeline underneath it. Boxes appear on the timeline whenever the object is doing something. The lines, so I've mentioned this a bit before, so the lines show the length of time an object exists within the process. So exist in the process is known as the lifeline. So those dotted lines, they are known as lifeline. Now the activity diagrams, so they are just flowcharts with different symbols. But So the different symbols are that a start and end, they look exactly the same as the case diagram. Also with the black circle, then the circle but with another circle within it, and black as the end. So the activity is a circle, oval even, and then a decision is the prism type thing shape. Then input is just has a slot like that, and then output is just a square but with the arrow thing. So the simple thing is saying that there is the starting point, which is just a basic circle, then then a activity would just be a oval, and a decision would just be a smaller decision box, but then there's two arrows coming off it, and then a input and output is just another oval shape. The second I forgot to mention is that the horizontal lines are used when lots of things happen at once, and that's the same within the simple thing, and then the M thing, that's just the same. So here are two diagrams. Well, the first diagram is using the normal method, so the complex type method. So there's the start, then there's a activity, then a decision. Then if you go to the left, you see that there is a horizontal line, so it means there are lots of things happening at once. So there's listen, so that is a input, and then you make notes, which is an output. But then if you go back to the decision and go no and down, that is an activity when it says leave, and then they both end up going to the same end. Now on the simple one is that it has the start bit, then it says, then it is an activity, then decision, but one to the left is sleep, and then one to the right is listen and make notes. Notice that there was no horizontal line, and then they both end. Now a communication diagram, it is used to show how different objects work together to carry out a task. Each object is represented by a rectangle. Objects are joined by arrows which show which direction information flows. These arrows are labelled to show the methods used and the order in which they occur in the communication. So there's the secretary. It says we need to, so first thing, so get report, so it's telling the head of department to get report, but then head of department needs to get the data from the teacher, who needs to get the grades from the student then sends the grades to the teacher sends the data to the head of department, then head of department sends the data to, or sends the report to the secretary. And as you notice, there's numbers, so that's the process in which they're done. So it's pretty much just going around in a circle. So it's communication, how things communicate with each other and then work together.